To most college students, every day seems to be a day filled with stress. I remember a specific day when I was really down. I was stressing about school, work, and just about life itself. But I had one thing later that day which I was looking forward to. It's my gig. A friend of mine called me up one day and asked if I wanted to play at this place. And I said, for sure. I wouldn't know anybody there, but hey, a gig's a gig. I need the money. I was feeling kind of low, and I needed a place to cheer up. When I got there, I started to set up. I got my horn out, started getting into the mindset of playing, started talking to all the guys that I'm going to be playing with, and checked out the crowd a little bit. I'm not going to play for you, it's a little loud. And, I got up to the stage, and as soon as I started to play, I started just going into my own world, where I'm listening to the band, connecting with all the guys, connecting with the audience and everything. Just thinking about nothing but playing. Converting all these worries that I had into an expressive passion that I can produce through my horn. And all the stress and worries about life just go away. Enjoying every minute in my world. I had a blast that day. It was awesome. I made some money, met a bunch of people, and I actually met one specific friend who is now one of my best friends. It's pretty awesome. We call each other every once in a while, give each other gigs, we play all the time, and it's a shame that not everybody gets to feel that at one point. And I highly suggest that all of you learn how to play a musical instrument just for that reason. And of course, there are other reasons. Today, I will discuss the key benefits in learning a musical instrument. These involve your health, learning some qualities, and your involvement with future loved ones. For the past 10 years, I have been practicing, loving, and learning how to play my trumpet. It has helped and taught me so much. As a college student myself, I'm sure we're all trying to find a way to relieve all the stress from work, from school, from family, from giving a speech. Going back to my story, I mentioned how playing my instrument relieved all my worries and helped control my stress. I'm not sure where I would be without my trumpet. We all get stressed, and if we don't find ways to calm ourselves down, it's going to end in horrible results. Can't stress that enough. Morton C. Orman, author of The 14-Day Stress Cure, states, each year millions of Americans die of stress-related illnesses, such as heart disease and stroke. So it's pretty bad. Our health is very important, and learning an instrument can help prevent death. It can also help develop parts of the brain. Hannah Padley, PhD, states, musical activity throughout life may serve as a challenging cognitive exercise, making your brain fitter and more capable of accommodating the challenges of aging. Since studying an instrument requires years of practice and learning, it may create alternative connections to the brain that could compensate for cognitive decline as we get older. So, by playing an instrument, you won't forget life. Now, these are all great reasons to learning an instrument, but it won't happen overnight. It does take some time, it does take some dedication, and it does take some effort. But with doing all this, you will gain much more. Some qualities that you do end up earning are confidence, patience, creativity, expression, passion, all these things that you can express and do just from learning an instrument. Remember how I mentioned that friend I met at the gig? We developed a bond that's pretty strong just because we both shared a common interest. And just because I was able to go to a different place that I wouldn't naturally go to just because I knew how to play an instrument. Now, future loved ones will also benefit from you learning instruments. You can become more involved with your family or with your community with knowing how to play an instrument. Whether it's playing piano for your family at a party, your Christmas party, or playing at a church service, or at a random gig that a friend has for you that you get to go to, have a blast, and relieve all your stress at one point. It's also a great way to pick up chicks. If you pick the right instrument, trumpet, I'm not too sure about it. You might also start teaching your little cousins, your siblings, your children, if you're thinking that far ahead, Studies have shown that having children involved in music helps with their schoolwork and developing life skills. It has also been proven that music can also develop parts of the brain, as I mentioned before. Lois Harlan, a researcher at Harvard University, explored the effects of instrumental instruction on spatial abilities. Spatial temporal is the ability to visualize spatial patterns and mentally manipulate them over time-ordered sequences of spatial transformation. Basically, you look down the hallway, you have a couch, you're going to visualize how you're going to move that couch to the hallway before you actually do it. Harlan concluded, active instruction in music does appear to enhance spatial temporal performance for children. Harold also proved that teaching younger children is more effective. So the sooner you get your children involved in music, the more beneficial it will be for them. So as you can see, in learning a musical instrument is not only beneficial for you, but also for your loved ones and everyone around you. Keep in mind all these key benefits, your health, some qualities, future loved ones, when you decide to go learn a musical instrument. No matter how stressed my day is, no matter what worries I have, I always know that I have my trumpet to come home to go play. Pretty awesome. Thank you.
Ashley, what did you think?
I thought overall it was pretty good. He had a good relation with the audience and talking about stress. The story he opened up with I liked because it allows you to kind of visualize yourself in a similar situation and feel how he was trying to allow you to feel. I like how he put in jokes and puns. And I don't know if he meant it as a pun, but when he said he couldn't stress it enough, I thought that was funny. Seemed like it was researched really well. He had a lot of eye contact and movement, which was good because it wasn't just a stationary speech. His transitions flowed pretty well. He had an explanation for some of the quotes that he had, so that way you can understand what he was trying to interpret with those quotes. The conclusion was effective as well. I liked his visual, although I would have liked that he had more than just the one visual, but overall I thought it was good.
All right, I think you said a lot of the things that I would say. I like the common reference you have at the beginning. It sets up a personal point of view on the subject. It introduces the topic in an interesting way. You've got a very clear statement of what your goal is and an excellent preview of what the supporting of what the supporting points are going to be. You do use a lot of personal experience, which is good, but we need to have a little bit more information. For instance, I like the data that you had that talked about how dangerous stress is, how it can affect people, and all of the harms that come along with it. What I didn't really get was anything beyond your saying that playing a musical instrument releases stress. And if there is some research that suggests that, or some other expert that suggests that, I think that that would be something that's nice to tie in. And I ran into the same problem in a couple other places. Several places you have some information, but it doesn't always seem as clearly connected to the point that you were suggesting as originally envisioned. For instance, when you're talking about the relational benefits of playing an instrument, I thought, okay, well, this will be interesting, but mostly what you end up talking about is how it helps kids in school do better or affecting their spatial temporal ability to see things. And I'm thinking, well, how does that connect to those relational issues that you're talking about? And it's all just the hypotheticals and maybe the personal examples again. The other stuff that you had, I thought that was good too, but it really didn't support the point that you were talking about. It felt like there were really different points that you ought to be making if those were the things that you were going to do the research on. But it was pretty well organized. It's topical in nature. It's well organized.